Hi friends, thanks for joining me today to paint our Ladybug rocks. I hope you had a good time going out on a walk looking for your rock. I found a bunch of rocks just in my yard because we have a lot of gardens with rocks. I already have my rock washed and I painted it white and it's dry, ready to add colors. The reason we paint them white is because they look a lot brighter when we add our other colors to them if we paint them white first. So if you haven't done that, you'll have time to paint yours white and get it ready also. The color of paints we're using today are white. So we're using that to prime our rock, but also we're using that for like the eyes or any other little details you want to put on your ladybug. We're using red. That's the main part of our ladybug. And we're also using black and yellow. If you decide you want to paint more ladybugs, you can get imaginative with your colors and use any color you want. You could have a blue ladybug or a green ladybug. So let's just have fun today. If you requested a paint kit, they're in these little cups like this. So just make sure that they're mixed up well. I think they'll be fine, but if they're not, just give them a quick stir with maybe a toothpick or a popsicle stick, and then they'll be ready to go. And just to give you an idea of how much paint I use, so if you're using the cups or using your own, I usually don't use more than a dime size of paint. So just for an idea, just take and put a little teeny squirt of the paint onto your paper plate or from your portion cup, and then you can always get more out if you need it, but we don't want to waste our paint. And then put your caps and lids back on your paint container so they don't dry out, okay? I have two little water jars, which I'm just using old spice jars, because especially when we're using black and red for the main part of our ladybugs, they get a lot of paint on them. So they might make our water turn color right away. So we can rinse it first and then kind of scrape it off like that. And then we can give it a second rinse so that it's in a little bit fresher water, get the extra water off. And then I use a paper towel just to put my brush like this and then pull it so that we keep our brushes nice and flat. Because we want to take care of our brushes so that they're ready for our next project and they last us for a long time. Today I have, let's see, a fine and a medium and a little bit larger brush for painting my rocks. So I'll probably use this one for the white and red, maybe some of the black. And then for like my polka dots and face, I'll probably use these finer ones, or sometimes I use the end of the brush also. It's kind of nice to have control. If you use the stick end of your brush, you can just dip that into your paint and then make nice little polka dots on your rock. It's a nice, easy way to control your paint. And then when you get done, remember to give that a rinse off too, because you don't want to forget that you have like black paint on there and then get it all over you, and just give it a quick wipe so it's all nice and clean. So we're going to just take our time and have fun making our rocks and give it time to dry before we add details to it. So like when we paint our rock white, we let it dry, and then we're going to paint it red, and then we're going to let it dry. And then we'll probably add his face, this black part. And then we'll want to let that dry before we add the eyes, because otherwise our colors kind of smear. And we're not in a hurry. We'll just take our time to make our ladybug look nice and cute, okay? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the camera so you can kind of see my work area as we're painting. And feel free to pause the video at any time if you need a little bit more time painting your rock at any point, or you can back it up and re-listen to how we did a certain part of the rock also. So just have fun. Look who just showed up to paint his rock with us. Benny, you're just in time. And I see you have your rock already painted white. How nice. All right. Are you ready? Yes, I'm so excited. I'm glad I made it here, and I want to make my rock look really, really nice. Okay, well, I'll find you a spot and then we'll get going with our friends, okay? Okay. Okay, so let's get started on painting our rock red, okay? Sometimes I like to get my brush wet first and then get the extra water out of it, because it makes it a little bit more flexible and accept the paint better. So got my brush wet. Benny, you can go ahead and get your brush wet. I'm going to put about that much red paint on my plate to start with. And I'm going to look at my rock and decide which I want to be the face and which I want to be the tail. See, my rock kind of has some broken edges on the back, and I might have that be the back side of my ladybug. So I think I'm going to have this be the face. So I'm going to paint the bottom part first. And if you have it setting on a paper towel like this, it kind of holds it still. So you don't even have to hold it with your hands. You can just set it down and just do nice strokes back and forth. And if you see white little holes like mine has, kind of little marks in my rock, I just go back over it to get those white parts covered because I want to make the whole thing look as red as possible. I want to hide all of the white. I don't want to see any white dots right now. If I want to add white dots, I can later, but for right now, I just want to go ahead and cover up all the white I can. And then you can go over it like this and make some nice brush strokes so it looks nice and even. Does it look like I got that backside? Guess I can see some white back there that's hiding from me. I want to get that. And then once we think we've hit all of the white on this bottom side, which it looks like we're doing a pretty good job here, this is where we can go do another activity because we're going to let this dry because we want this to be really dry before we flip it over, okay? So I'm going to rinse my brush out. Remember how I told you I had two different water cups? This one, I'm getting most of that red out. You can see some that wants to not come off my brush there, so I'll kind of give it a swirl again. Then I'm going to go into my clean water. Maybe try and get more of that paint out. And then I'm going to use my paper towel. Remember, I lay my brush in and then I pull it through, kind of squeeze out that paint. And if I still think I have some paint in it, you can always put it back into the jar. Just be careful. Scrape off the extra water. And squeeze it out like that. That looks good. I have my bristles laying nice and flat. My brush, I call these bristles, so that next time they'll be ready to go. All right, and I'll set that and let that dry. While that's drying, we could either start another rock or we can just do another activity. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video right now and maybe give it 15 minutes to dry, and then we can continue on, okay? And I'm going to check on Benny and see how he's doing. Okay, we're back. Looks like it's dry, so I think we can give it a flip over. And I could tell because it didn't look shiny anymore. And look, Benny actually brought blue. So his ladybug is going to be blue. That was a good idea, Benny, you bringing blue from home. Here's my red. I'm going to add just a teeny bit more to it. Not too much. I don't think I need very much. Oops. I need to still rinse these brushes out. Let's give them a second rinse here. Give them a quick dry. I'll do one at a time, it's easier. Dry that out. Try this one. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to make sure it's extra dry here. Get that extra water out. That looks good. All right, go ahead and load my paint on my brush, and then just going to dab paint on there so I have quite a bit, and then I'll start doing my strokes. My nice long strokes. Make sure you get around the edge because we want both sides to meet and have it look completely red. So you're going to have to really peek around the edges to make sure you get all of the white spots, okay? Sometimes our rocks have little holes in them. They're very porous, so we want to make sure that we get into those little crevices, the little holes, so that that looks really, really red. Clear off to the edge there. see a few spots there. Let's take a look on this side. We can just take our time. We don't have to hurry. If you need more time, like I said, you can go ahead and just pause the video and then wait. And we'll all be doing this together, okay? And I'm going to wait for Benny too, because he is just getting going on his second side too. I think that might be everything there. So we'll just do some nice strokes so he looks nice and smooth. I think that looks pretty good, actually. That looks good. All right. I'm going to let mine dry then, and I'm going to go check on Benny again, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, and I'll see you back in a few minutes, okay? Okay, Benny and I are back, and it looks like our top side of our rock is dry, so let's take a look at the sides and inspect it and see if we missed any spots. Oh, I see a teeny bit right there, so I'm going to get some red paint. I'm going to use this cup since it's right here. Just put a teeny bit on here. See right there? I'm going to get that. Oh, just a teeny bit right there. Let's get that. I want to make sure it's covered really good. Oh, little bit right there. Not bad. All right, so we can set that down. Remember, I want this to be my top. That's my bottom, my top. So I'm going to set it right there so he's ready to start decorating. I just got a little bit on my thumb, so I'll use my rag. That's what my rag's for. Get that paint off my finger. All right, rinse my brush out, and I better put the cap back on that so it doesn't dry out. All right, so next, let's look at our rock. I think I want to do his face next. So I'm gonna do the black part because I want my face to be black, and I already decided that this was going to be my face, and this kind of weird end back here is gonna be my tail, okay? So I'll get my black out and give it a shake. I'm going to use my other old paint plate here. This was one I was using earlier. Be careful too, because sometimes these like to spit on you when they open. We don't want to mess. So I'm going to just put right on top of my old black spot right there. Leave that much. Okay, that's good. Close that up. And I think I want my face to be about 1/3 of the rock. So a third means 3, like something divided into 3. So 1, maybe that middle part's the second part, and the back tail part's the third part. So maybe about 1/3 of it, the front third, to be his face. And if it helps you, you can always write a line. Like I think I want my face to be about like that. If you want to, so you can just use your pencil for that, kind of as a little guide. So I dip my brush in there, and I think I'll do that line first. And just try and drag it across, and see how I'm resting my wrist down on the ground, just like when we write. Like when we're writing with our pencil or our crayon, if we rest our hand down like this and I'm pinching my brush, I have more control. I can make a nice arch or curve for his head. So now that I got that kind of figured out, that looks about right. Now I can just start filling this other part in. And I'm gonna just try and make a nice finished edge, but no one's gonna really see the bottom side. We might sign it with our name, kind of like our signature, like we're signing our art. That's what a signature is. It's like you sign it with your name, and maybe you could put today's date so you remember, I made this Ladybug rock on this date, and then you sign your name so everyone knows that you did it. And I think when I get all done with mine, I'm gonna put my Ladybug out in the garden. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'll show you. See how that edge looks? Looks pretty good. So I'm going to turn him around because now I think I'm going to put that little line right down in the middle, just like splitting a pizza in half. Like when we want to be fair and we're going to share something with someone, we're going to cut it right down the middle. So I don't think I'm going to use my pencil to mark that. I am just going to use, I think I'm going to use a toothpick for this. So I'm going to stick that in the water, get my other one rinsed here. Almost looks like I need to change my water. My water's starting to get kind of cloudy, isn't it? All right, we'll give those a wipe. Make sure they look good. Looks pretty good, nice and smooth. Slide that one through. That looks good. Oh, maybe I should rinse it a little bit more. And if you're still painting your rock, your face, that's fine. You have plenty of time. You can always stop the video if you want to, and then just catch up with us. Rewatch a portion if you want to see how we did it. So, all right. Did you notice I did practice ones on here? See how I did a little practice guy right here? I just used my blob of red paint and kind of made it into a red oval. And then I painted my black on for my face. And then this is what I'm going to do right now is the black line down the middle, which separates his wings because our ladybug has two wings, one on this side and one on this side. And then we'll start adding more details. Details are like the decorations on our ladybug, which are like the dots and the eyes, the smiles. You might want to put little nose holes or eyelashes. Your imagination, whatever you want to do, okay? All right, well, I decided to use a toothpick. All right, so I need black. Let's get our black out again. Actually, nope, I had black on that paper plate, didn't I? I don't need that. Let's close this because I don't want it to dry out. All right, so you can dip your toothpick. I'm gonna go right down the center, right in the middle. That looks like the middle, doesn't it? We'll just work our way down. Just kind of touching. I need a little bit more. I'm not going to push really hard though, because we don't want to really scrape him. Right down the middle. We can always go over this with the brush too. And like I said, if you don't like it, you can always wipe it off. But really, art can be anything you want it to be. And you can always paint over it or just leave it how it turns out. That's just fine too. Okay, so let's see. Let's try and go as straight. Sometimes I get shaky. Try not to be shaky. All right, so I got most of that down. I'm going to see if my little fine brush will work really good. I'm going to get it wet. This is a time where I'd really want my brush wet so it's nice and smooth. I'm going to put a little bit of paint on it. And I'm going to try and go very, very carefully. See, I'm holding my hand down nice and firm, resting. He's like resting on the ground. And then pull towards me. See how I'm going nice and slow too? We don't have to be fast, just nice and slow because painting's relaxing. I might give him a little twist if it's easier for me maybe to get to the other side. Just go nice and slow, take your time. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So now I have one wing here, one wing over here, and his head right here. And just put a teeny bit more right there. That looks good. See a piece of my hair. Let's get that out of there. All right. Now, maybe now I want to think about the dots on his wings, or I could think about putting his eyeballs on. And I think I want my ladybug. Do you know that they call them ladybirds in England? It's kind of interesting, isn't it? So we call them ladybugs, and a lot of people, everybody likes ladybugs because they eat aphids. Aphids are bugs that we don't like because aphids like get on our rose bushes and they eat up our flowers. So ladybugs are good because they like to eat aphids. Okay, so I think I am going to do the dots on his back. And you can choose to do big dots and little dots, or you can make it look the same on both sides. That is totally up to you, however you want to decorate your ladybug. And you can make black dots, and since we have black and yellow and white, you could also make white dots if you want to. But I think I'm gonna do, I think I might do yellow dots. Yeah, let's do yellow. Okay, so I'll get this out. I haven't used this yellow, so I'm gonna shake it. So just keep painting. And take your time if you need it to dry. All right, I got my yellow there. Looks good. And I think, what do I want to do? I think I want to do all different size dots. So I might do one big dot. Just kind of let it drop. See how I'm not even really doing much? Just kind of letting it, I'm not even lifting up my brush. I'm just kind of letting it flow out a little bit. That looks pretty good. I think I want one over here too in the same spot so it looks the same. It's called symmetrical. I want it to look symmetrical. Or the same. I think I might put one, maybe I'll put one right there. So if I put one right there, then that means I need to put one right there to make it look the same, right? Okay, putting a little bit more paint on my brush. Next, I think I'll put one right there. Looks like a good spot. I'm gonna add one to the other side too, and see how I'm still resting my wrist down so I can have a little bit of control, and I can stop right there. Is that where I want it? Yeah, that's where I want it. So touch it down. Just go nice and slow. Be gentle. You don't have to push hard. Perfect. All right. Now where do I want to put one? Maybe right there. That means I'm going to put another one right there. He's kind of almost looking like a dice, isn't he? I should have had a dice out to show you. He almost looks like the number 5 dice, especially if I put one dot right there. He looks like 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll do that. I'll put one right there. Kind of on the edge. Look, it's almost curving around the edge. And I'm going to put one right there. Okay. So if I have 5 on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do I have on that side? You're right, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I think, should he be done? Or should I add another one? I think I might be done for now. I think I'll just leave that. I'm going to rinse out my brush. Okay, take my napkin, dry it off, make sure it's nice and clean. Looks pretty good. Set it there and dry. Okay, so now I want to think about his face. I want to put some eyes on my guy, and I'm going to start with the white, because this white part, that's the white of his eyes, and then that black part is his pupil. So I need to get some white out. Give it a shake because it's been sitting here for a bit. And then let's open it really careful, because sometimes, like I said, they spit on you. Pour a little bit on my plate. Okay. Now, before I paint on him, I think I'm going to practice a bit. So let's move these out of the way. Let's move him back so he can dry. I had that one practice one right there. So this is where I might use the wood end of my brush instead of using the brush end. So I'm going to dip it in the white paint, and I'm thinking, you know, we have eyes, like one probably there and there, one on each side of his face. So I'll put a white dot, then I'll put a white dot. So we're just practicing right now. So I could decide, oh, those are nice eyes, but I might want them a little bit bigger. I'll put a little bit more paint on. I'm going to turn it just so I can get to it a little bit better. And see, I'm resting my wrist down, get it nice and planted, and I put it down, and then I can just kind of swirl just a teeny bit, barely. See that? Made it a little bit bigger, down, swirl just a teeny bit to make his eyes a little bit bigger, because bigger eyes are kind of cute. I think big eyes are kind of cute. All right. That looks pretty good. We'll let that dry. And we want that to be nice and dry before we add the black dot for his pupil, because it'll turn gray or kind of look it'll bleed, I guess. So we don't want to do that. We want to let it dry really good, okay? So while we're waiting for that to dry, I have some other practice ones that we can do. So if you're still working on your dots or your head or your wing, wherever you are, just keep working on it. And you can also watch this for ideas, okay? So these ones, they still need to be painted black. Like they need their black heads. I might not do all of them, but maybe I'll just do this guy. I'm going to paint his head. We're just having fun, not stressful. You don't get upset. It's just having fun. That looks good. And then remember, I have to do that line down the back to separate his two wings. So I want to do it right in the middle. I think I might just try, actually this was my kind of bigger brush. This is a smaller one. Get it wet so it flows good. Get the extra water off it. Maybe kind of pinch it down to a point too. That's kind of good. Dip it in your paint. And then just rest your wrist again. Find the middle. There's the middle, the center. And then just pull down towards you. Straight. If it's crooked, that's okay. See how it's not even covering all the way? It's like all the brushes weren't touching. I'm going to try going the opposite way. Set it down really gently and pull. Pull. See, I'm wiggling, but that's okay. That's good. All right, and this guy, I think I'll give him some black dots because I want him to be kind of like a regular old ladybug. And this maybe just give him a couple of dots. He's like one I see out in my yard that's taking care of my flowers and eating up those pesky aphids. Let's give him a dot there and a dot there. And we'll give him a dot there and a dot there. Very nice. I like that. All right, that's drying. Let's give our brush a rinse. Oops. Look what I forgot to do. I forgot to rinse the white off the end. Let's get that wiped off. I don't want to forget to do that because then we get a mess going. Look at that. That's what my rag's for though, right? Wipe my fingers off. All right, he's starting to look pretty good. All right, so maybe I might get my blow dryer out and give him a quick little blow dry here. There, that dried him off pretty good. So now I can go ahead and try doing an eye on there so you can kind of see what he'll look like with an eye too. So I'm using the tip of my brush again. I'm gonna put an eye on this side of his face. and an eye on this side of his face. That's good. Oh, okay, now rinse it off so I don't get it on my fingers again this time. And wipe it. And did you see I got a little speck of white right there? I could always just grab a little bit more black. There it goes. It's gone. It's gone. Okay, rinse it off. All right. How you doing on yours? Is it going good? I hope so. Just take your time. All right, I'm moving back to this one again. So he's kind of dry there. So I'm going to add his little black pupils to his eyes. So I think I'm just going to have this guy, I think I'm going to have him looking that way. Okay, so I'm going to put a dot over there. And then I'm just barely touching it. Remember, I'm nice and stable with my wrist and touch my brush down. There he is. He's looking that way. That's cute. All right, let's get our brush rinsed out. Okay, and then he needs a face. And I think I'm going to grab a new toothpick. I'm just going to leave that one there. And it looks like I need some more red because my red is getting dry on my plate. Little squirt. And I want to give my guy a nice little smile. I'm going to go like this. Just a little one. There you go. Nice little smile. Okay. Well, I think we've practiced enough. So if you have your dots done, we can go ahead and add a face to our rock since we were just practicing all that time. All right, so I need white and I'm going to use the end of my paintbrush. I'm going to put a white dot right there. Another one right there. Okay. Around a little bit so it's not quite so thick in the middle. Just going slow, nice and slow. Okay, all right, let's wipe the paint off. Give it a rinse. We're getting there. I think while I'm waiting for that white to dry, I think I might do his mouth. Get my red toothpick. Actually, I have a red toothpick right here. Oh no, I got black on it. I'll get a new one. There we go. Just dip it in your red. Just want a little red smile. Need a little bit more. Oops, too much. You can always wipe it off on the edge of your plate if you think you have too much on there. You have trouble with this, if you don't think you can do it, you can always get help from your mom and dad or whoever's there helping you with it. You guys can have it be your project. And it doesn't matter how yours look. Everyone's going to look different. So I think I can go ahead and add my black dots to his eyes, okay? All right, let's get this wiped off. I need a little bit more black because my black's kind of dry. I'm ready to put his little pupils or his middle of his eye. Oh, I want this guy looking. I might just have him looking right at me. I'm just going to touch it down like a dot. And have that one looking right at me like a dot. Perfect. I'm just going to leave it. All right. So what else should we do on our little bug? He could be done if we want him to be done. This was the one that my son had done years ago. This one was actually done in 2002. So that was like 18 years ago he did this when he was like 7 years old, and he's 25 now. So look how nice that stayed. After it all gets dry, so then you can turn it over and put your name on it. Sometimes it's easy to use just a Sharpie marker, put your name on, or you can have mom or dad write your name and then write down the date. They can write the date for you so you remember when you made it. And then you can spray it. I usually spray mine with just like some outdoor safe UV clear spray, which I can show you the can in a little bit, because when mine gets all dry, I'll go ahead and put my name on mine and Benny can put his name on his, and then we'll take them outside and spray them. Then we'll show you where we're going to put them in the garden, okay? All right. You can go ahead and pause if you want to, and we'll meet back when we're ready to put our names on ours, okay? Hi friends, we're back. We're done, and I think our rocks are dry enough to put on the clear coat. I told you about this at the start of the video, and I told you I'd show you what I use. I like using either this UV resistant clear, or if you want a little bit, this one's a matte finish, but I also like glossy finishes too, because it kind of makes them pop a bit. But this one's meant for indoor or outdoor also. So I think I'm going to use this one today. All right, so there's the one I did, and I put my name on the back with the year 2020. And then I did a second one, this little guy. And then Benny, can you give me yours? There's Benny's first one. Has his name on the bottom of it. He chose to do blue, and he put little light blue eyes. That's really cute. Oh, I like this one, Benny. Look at that one. That kind of looks like your shirt, Benny. All right, I'm going to give him a spray. Shake my bottle really good here. I better scoot that one over a teeny bit. And I'm out in my garage and I have the door open because this stuff you don't really want to smell. This is something mom and dad need to do for sure. Let's just go back and forth. Make sure we cover the whole thing. All right, we'll let that dry and then we'll flip them over and we're going to go put them in our garden. I hope yours turned out super nice. I'm sure they did. And maybe you can post a picture of them so I can see how yours turned out. Bye, friends.